Hi, I'm Katie, your safety trainer. Today we're going to dive into the critical topic of acetylene safety. Acetylene is a compressed gas primarily used in welding. While pure acetylene is odorless, the type you'll encounter commercially often has a garlic-like smell due to impurities. Although overexposure might leave you feeling dizzy or give you a headache, the bigger risk with acetylene is its explosiveness. It can explode due to sparks, if stored improperly in confined areas, or if it comes into contact with materials like pure copper. That's why it's absolutely crucial to handle acetylene with care. Today, we'll go through some important safety tips to keep you safe while working with this volatile gas. When working with acetylene, it's important to handle it with utmost care to avoid any risky situations. Here are some essential guidelines to follow. Firstly, never use acetylene at pressures exceeding 15 pounds per square inch. This helps prevent unexpected releases or explosions. Also, avoid any contact between acetylene and pure copper, unless it's within a blowpipe or torch, where it's safe and controlled. If you find acetylene cylinders stuck to the ground due to freezing, don't try to pry them loose with bars. Instead, gently thaw them using warm, not boiling water. This method ensures the integrity of the cylinder is maintained without any risk of damage. It's crucial not to weld or cut directly on an acetylene pipeline, and never attempt to transfer acetylene from one cylinder to another, as this can be extremely dangerous. Always use non-sparking tools to open acetylene cylinders to prevent any sparks that could ignite the gas. Ensure that any pipe systems and equipment associated with acetylene are properly grounded to minimize the risk of static discharges. Also keep an ABC fire extinguisher within reach at all times when working with acetylene. For operational safety, make it a habit to shut off the acetylene cylinders during lunch breaks, overnight, or any other substantial period you won't be using it. Store cylinders at least 35 feet away from any welding or cutting operations. If maintaining this distance isn't feasible, protect the cylinders with fire-resistant shields. Finally, always use a backflow protector. This device is crucial as it prevents the dangerous mixing of oxygen and acetylene in the systems, ensuring both safety and effectiveness of your welding setup. Dealing with acetylene leaks requires quick and cautious action to ensure everyone's safety. Here's what to do if you suspect a leak. If you notice that an acetylene cylinder is leaking, the first step is to try to close the valve and tighten the gland nut. If the leak doesn't stop with these actions, immediately cease using the cylinder and tag it as broken to alert others of the hazard. In cases where the acetylene gas cannot be shut off, it's crucial to handle the situation with care. Tag the cylinder to mark it as hazardous, and then move it to a cool, well-ventilated area. This should be away from any people and far from potential ignition sources to minimize the risk of explosion. Once the cylinder is in a safe location, consult the supplier's instructions for further steps. These instructions are designed to guide you safely through the process of dealing with a leaking cylinder and will provide the best practices for mitigating any dangers. Storing acetylene safely is vital to prevent accidents and ensure a safe working environment. Here's how to properly store acetylene cylinders. First and foremost, keep acetylene cylinders away from any external heat sources. This includes high-temperature steam lines, electric arcs, or any intense radiant heat. The storage area should be specifically assigned and clearly marked to avoid any confusion. Position cylinders away from high-traffic areas such as elevators, stairs, or gangways. It's important that these cylinders are easily accessible, yet out of the way to prevent accidental bumps or knocks. Never store acetylene in unventilated enclosures like lockers or cupboards. Instead, ensure that the storage area is well ventilated to prevent gas accumulation in case of a leak, which could lead to hazardous conditions. When it comes to oxygen and other oxidizers, store them at least 20 feet away from acetylene cylinders. If maintaining a 20-foot distance isn't possible, you can use a non-combustible barrier that's at least 5 feet high with a fire-resistant rating of at least 30 minutes to separate them. By following these storage guidelines, you can help minimize the risk of fire and explosion, protecting both personnel and facilities. Transporting acetylene safely is crucial to avoid any accidents during movement. Here Here are some key guidelines to follow when transporting acetylene cylinders. Firstly, always remove the regulators from the cylinders before transport and ensure that the protective caps are securely placed back on. This protects the cylinder valves from damage and leaks. Never transport acetylene cylinders in enclosed spaces such as vans or other vehicles without proper ventilation. Enclosed spaces can trap gas in the event of a leak, creating a highly explosive environment. When lifting acetylene cylinders, avoid using the valve protection devices unless they are specifically designed for this purpose. Also, it's important not to use magnets, rope slings, or chain slings to lift the cylinders with cranes, as these methods can compromise the safety and integrity of the cylinders. Always transport acetylene cylinders in an upright position. This prevents the acetylene from accumulating at the neck of the bottle, which can impede its proper functioning. If a cylinder does tip over during transport, make sure to set it upright for at least as long as it was tipped to allow the acetylene to settle back into its correct position. By adhering to these transportation guidelines, you can ensure the safety of the cylinders, your environment, and everyone involved in the transport process. To conclude, acetylene is a widely used gas that comes with significant risks. It's crucial to not only follow the specific guidelines we've discussed for handling, using, storing, and transporting acetylene, but also to consistently apply common sense and caution in every situation involving this gas. Always prioritize safety and be proactive in managing the risks. That wraps up today's lesson on acetylene safety. If you found this video helpful, make sure to follow us on social media for more safety tips and updates. And remember, stay safe out there. Trainer, Katie, hello. This includes high temperature streamlined. That's why it's absolutely crucial to handle, Today we'll go through some important safety tips to keep you safe while working with this volatile gas. Gaia.